Everybody, first of all, I would like to apologize for my English because it's not my native language, and I had a boyfriend from Kansas City. That's why I speak like I speak. Well, I'm here to speak about the radical left in the Spanish state right now, and I say Spanish state because we don't like to speak about Spain, because in the Spanish state there are different oppressed nationalities like the Basque Country or Catalonia or Galicia, and we don't see the Spanish state as Spain as a nation, as a country, so that's why we speak about the Spanish state. Okay, I hope you understand. Well, to speak about the radical left in the Spanish state, sometimes it's quite depressing, since in the 80s, big revolutionary organization collapsed, and the communists and the socialist or social democrat party betrayed their social basis, and many people who were fighting for something more than the democracy we have now, were disappointed. No? As many workers in, for example, in Tunisia or Egypt, who are working for something more than the democracy we have now here in Europe. Well, so we have a quite a small and divided radical left in the Spanish state. But to understand the parties of the radical left in the Spanish state, as Antonio Gramsci, the Italian revolutionary, said, we have to analyze the socio-political situation. So that's what I'm going to do. As you know, we have a social democrat government with the President Zapatero that is acting as the Spanish state has been rescued, as Greece or as Portugal or as Ireland, and is doing very antisocial reforms and attacking the working class very, very deep. It has cut the public worker salaries, is privatizing public companies, is cutting public services as education or healthcare, has made a new labor market reform, so now it's easier to fire and cheaper to fire a worker. It has changed the retirement age from 65 to 67, and all these measures are not helping to escape the crisis, but are deepening the crisis very much. The situation, the social situation right now in the Spanish state is quite depressing. We have a 21% of unemployment. More than 5 million people are unemployed. Many of them have to emigrate to other countries, for example, to London, looking for a job. We have 50% of unemployment between young people. We have 20% of families living in poverty, 77% of all people, retired people, living with less than 100 euros a month, etc., etc., etc. And nothing was happening before May 15th, that I'm talking about, because everything changed very deeply in May 15th this year. Well, nothing was happening. No, we had a general strike in the public sector in June last year, which was pretty successful, and we had also a general strike in every sector in September 29th. But after this, the bureaucrats of the two big unions were saying that the strike was not very successful, and they were calling for the social peace with the ruling class and with the government. Many people were asking, we were from a lucha asking for more strikes, like in Greece, like in France, but the bureaucrats of the two big unions, who are the only ones who can call for successful general strikes, were calling for the social peace. They call it like that, I don't know why. But suddenly, in May 15, everything changed, as I said before. And nobody was expecting this. We were not expecting this. For example, in my city, in Seville, we were going to the demonstration, and we were expecting maybe 500 people, 1,000 people, and suddenly there were 5,000 people only in Seville. These demonstrations all around the state were called by a small group, a reformist small group, organized mainly in internet. And they were not either expecting this huge demonstration that people were taking the street, people were angry for protesting. They tried to do this small group tried to do this, for example, in February, but we were 7 people in the square. But suddenly, in May 15, we were thousands of people in every big city all around the Spanish state. From then to now, things have changed very, very fast. And it's amazing how every day more people are joining this movement of indignados, of outraged people. We think we are in an historical moment right now in the Spanish state. We don't know if it's the beginning of the Spanish Revolution, as some people call it. But what we know is that it's happening something that it didn't happen before. Sometimes the demonstrations remember to the demonstrations against the war in Iraq, but this movement is much more political. The movement started by this group and a call to reform the representation law. But from the beginning, people had social demands. They want the rich to pay for their crisis. They don't want to pay for the crisis of the people who made the crisis. And this movement, you can see that it's inspired by the revolution in the Arab countries, by the fightings in Greece, in France, by the revolts of the students here in Italy, by also what is going on in Iceland. And this movement opens many opportunities for the radical left in the Spanish state. The first phase, the first period of the movement was these big demonstrations in all around the Spanish state. And that night, some people camped in the middle of Madrid in Puerta del Sol. And the Spanish police, which is very clever, took those people out of the square very with violence in the middle of the night. And that caused tens of camps in every big city. More than 100 squares were occupied by people and organizing the camps, discussing about the political situation, calling for demonstration, and every day more people were joining the movement. A second phase came, a second period in the movement came maybe 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, and the movement moved from this occupied square to the neighborhoods. So now there are assemblies in every neighborhood in many, many cities, assemblies with tens of people, with hundreds of people, discussing about politics, organizing demonstration, building bridges between local fighting and general fighting. For example, when the banks are going to evict someone who cannot pay for the loan, hundreds of people go there and stop it. For example, this is happening in Madrid or in Barcelona, and at the same time they are connecting these local fights with the general fight against the crisis. And many people in the movement, we between them want that movement to go farther to a fourth period when the people are acting from the workplaces. In the demonstration, many people are calling for a general strike. We want another general strike. The government, what is the government doing? The government is starting to do small reforms, and they are desperately looking for a representation of the movement. Where are the people who we can talk with? And they want people who represent the movement with very soft reforms, but what they are finding is a huge movement organizing from below and with very radical reforms. So, and also the pressure is getting the bureaucrats of the 2 big unions, and they are starting to call for demonstration with the delegates of the unions. So it looks like we can, in the future, call from below for a general strike. Soon we will have general election for presidential elections, and all the surveys says that the right is getting to the government, which is something contradictory with the situation I'm describing. But the right is getting to the government, it looks like, because the Social Democrats has betrayed the basis, the workers' basis again. But it's not the same that the right get to the government, the Conservative Party get to the government with the people depressed in their houses, than if the right get to the government with the people fighting in the street, asking for another general strike. One of the slogans that is very popular in the demonstration now in the Spanish state is la crisis que la paguen los capitalistas. The capitalists have to pay for the crisis. And actually, we are not going to pay for their crisis, but well, we are already paying. But I think what the people think when they say that is that we are not going to pay for their system. We are not going to pay for this fucking capitalist system that means, yes, this system that means crisis, that means suffering, that means injustice. I think that when people talk about the Spanish Revolution, they know this is not a revolution because still we are not acting in this movement from the workplaces. But they don't see alternative to improve their life in the Social Democrats or in the Conservative Party. Every day, more and more people are joining the movement, and they know that the alternative that this democracy is giving to them are not alternative. So that's why they are speaking about the Spanish Revolution. And I would like to finish telling that I think it's very important. We have to coordinate the resistance in an international way. We have to coordinate and to learn from each other's strike, riots, revolts, revolution, because this, more than ever, is an international fight. Thank you.